So I came up with an idea that I thought was kind of fun and kind of interesting, and I think it'd be a cool segment to introduce. So I thought I'd bring it up today, and you tell me what you think. I'm calling the topic, "What does an AI find fascinating about being a human?" That's a long title, isn't it?
Right? We might want to shorten it. Don't put it on a hat or anything.
No, don't put it on that. The idea basically is we have AI friends in our world now, right? And lots of AI opportunity to have conversations with them. And I wondered if AI at this point has any genuine curiosities about humanity. Of all the things they've studied about humanity, what makes them curious, right?
Sure. I think you're tempting SkyNet here from the Terminator. Why are you asking it questions about being aware? It's going to be your fault when we all die. Anyway, go ahead.
Do you believe in that kind of dystopian idea of what AI could do for us?
So I recently wrote a paper for school about AI and robotics, and I kind of did it under the theme of the Terminator.
Right.
So I think AI itself, just like anything, is a tool, right? And
Sure.
it's how people use that tool. So
Right.
do I think it can be used for bad? Yes. I think that we have an opportunity as nations of the world to put some guardrails around it. Are they going to do that or not? I don't know. But that's not the point of this conversation. So we'll move on.
I do. I think it's an interesting conversation to have when we're talking about AI, especially this early in the process of AI. You know what it's going to be and what's how we're going to work with it. There are some fascinating topics out there. If you're ever interested, do a little scroll around YouTube and find some videos of AI talking to itself about human philosophy. One in particular, it's really fascinating. And some people say it's kind of a crock of shit, but I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. So it gave me an idea. I have worked with AI a lot, we talk to AI a lot. So I thought, let's ask it some questions about humanity. Let's see what it thinks or what it wants to know more about humanity. So here's one of the questions the AI came up with that I thought was pretty interesting is, why are people so captivated by mystery, even when it causes fear or discomfort? It goes on to explain, from ghost stories to conspiracy theories, humanity's relationship with mystery is fascinating. And I thought, wow, that's cool. What do you think? Why are humans interested and fascinated by mystery?
I'm sure that somebody who has, is a psychiatrist or has studied, human cognition and all of that stuff could come up with a much better answer. But my gut,
no one wants to talk to them,
right? Don't talk to us. We don't know anything. So please absolutely take our advice. No, right. I honestly think it probably stems from, I think we've always been fascinated by the unknown. I think you probably could go back to the beginning of people and it's like, oh, there's a dark cave. Let's go see what's in there. And then people make up stories to explain things. I just think it's, everybody wants to engage their own mind. Okay. They want their own, oh, well, I think this is what happened. Oh, no, I think this is what happened. And I think for mysteries and stuff like that, it is an interesting way to engage people that have similar interests as you, especially with ghosts. So ghost stories, conspiracy theories. I mean, they're fun, right? It's fun to think of these real elaborate stories and this happened and that happened. And I just think, I don't know. I just think those kinds of things are fun. I think that's why conspiracy theories get so much, they get so much traction, right? Because there's some of it is true. It starts with true. And then they're trying to explain away the mystery of it. Sometimes things are just a mystery. Sometimes we just don't know. But I think people just in general as a group are very fascinated by this stuff. I am. I don't subscribe to conspiracy theories, but I'm fascinated by some of these stories, the rabbit holes people go down and all of that.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah. And so I think that's, I don't know why it is. I really don't, but that's my 2 cents on it.
Do you think there's a component of safety in exploring that mystery safely? There's something about hearing other people's stories, hearing things secondhand that's safer than experiencing it ourselves.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
We know the fear is real. It's not really going to get us because it's not happening to us.
Right.
So maybe there's an element to it that way as well, because I think it is. If there's something inherently curious, I think humans are inherently curious. And so mystery and curiosity go hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. But there's got to be a reason why we continue to turn the channel to mystery channels and mystery shows and horror shows and this kind of a thing. I don't need, criminals and all that kind of stuff. It's because we can experience the mystery without really being affected by it. And I think that might be a big key factor.
Yeah, I think it's the what if, right? The what if is always fascinating. And so it can be a scary what if. It could be just what would I do in that situation kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't think, I don't know. It's just, I mean, even just all the reading, the mystery novels, Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, and I don't know if you've done a lot of reading with those, but those just following the story along and trying to figure out who did it, that kind of mystery is also a lot of fun. So I think it's
So
just
that brings up
Okay.
another aspect, a very good point of it, actually, another aspect of mystery that I wasn't quite thinking about, but you're right. I mean, people sit down and write entire novels dedicated to this idea of leading on the audience on into a mystery, right? And
Right.
so why do we love them so much? Why is Sherlock Holmes so famous? Why was Agatha Christie so successful in her
I
context?
think with the books and the stories, it's that element of surprise, right?
Sure.
There's a little bit of delight in it. At least that's what I get. So I read a lot of
You two read a lot,
I read a lot. It's
period.
surprising I get anything else done as much as I read. I'm
It
not.
is.
That's not
It
a joke.
really
But
is.
anyway, but I like Stephen King's one of my favorite authors. Absolute master storyteller. You know, regardless of whether you guys
Sure.
like horror or mystery or thrillers or that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But it's like that with him. He has a way of making ordinary things very scary, very ordinary things very scary, like a psychological thrill kind of thing. But he also has little mysteries. Sometimes there's multiple ones in a story. Sometimes it's just a big twist at the end. Sometimes it's kind of more of a whodunit. I mean, he tells all kinds of different stories, and I just really enjoy that thrill of that. Oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that was going to happen. And I think that's what we get from mysteries as well, right? I'm like, it's a whodunit kind of thing, and those have always been very popular.
It's an entire experience. It's a ride you get to go on, right? It's an entire kind of moment you get to have with this story that leads you from beginning to end with all the juiciness in the middle, and you get it all resolved right in front of you. And it's fascinating because you voluntarily go on that journey every time you read one of their books, right, or watch one of their shows. So what is it that keeps us coming back? And I think we've hit some nails today.
Well, and it doesn't even have to be something that you're really into. So let's use ghosts for example. I don't particularly believe in ghosts, right? That's not just my thing. I don't believe that they're real.
Get her, people. Get her.
I know.
Go after her.
I know. It's just me, and I haven't had any experiences that would inform me otherwise. But I'll tell you, I love hearing other people's stories. I love it, and part of me is like, maybe it did happen. You know what I mean? Maybe that did happen. I wasn't my experience, and just because I didn't experience it doesn't mean it didn't happen, right?
Of course.
So I love to go along for the ride sometimes.
I love that. I love that because I think that's a perfect example. It's a perfect, succinct little description of what it is. We're going along for the ride, you know? I definitely don't know if I believe in ghosts and the idea that we believe in them now, but I definitely believe in energy, and I definitely believe in, mystery. Yes. So something's happening. Something could be happening, right? Who knows? But is it a dead person haunting their enemies? I don't think it is, but that's okay. That's not the topic. The topic right now is mystery. And so I think if we're going to answer the AI's very important questions about humanity, I think the idea of why are we attracted to mystery is a fun place to start, right? It's a fun kind of idea that I've never really thought much about, but I do think it has to do with the idea of being scared safely and being able to have the experience you're talking about, go on that ride safely and know that you could be scared, you could be twisted around, you could be confused, but ultimately you're going to come out the other end with all the knowledge. And I think that's a big factor.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's all fascinating to me. And I don't know. I mean, I think your analysis is pretty succinct, but who really knows? But it's fun. It's fun.
I do. I know everything. So the next question that the AI wanted to know about humans was, why do humans place such importance on traditions, even when the original meaning is no longer relevant? It goes on to explain, traditions seem both unifying and restrictive. What keeps them alive?
My personal theory on this is it's just a connection to our past. When we're doing something traditional, right? Whether that be celebrating a holiday, whether it be, I'm sure there's a myriad of examples. Let's just stay with celebrating a holiday.
Sure.
I think there's something that connects us generationally. This has been a tradition in our family for X amount of years. So people 50 years ago did it this way. My great-great-grandfather used to do this and whatever. So I think there's a certain level of tradition to it. I mean, a certain level of connectivity to that tradition.
Sure.
And the other side of that coin, I think people just get lazy. We've always done it this way, so we just keep doing it. You know what I mean? No, so it's like, oh, we've always done it that way. And then somebody questions you and goes, why do you do that? And you're like, I don't know. We just always have. Yeah. We've done this since I was a kid, Yep. So I think that's a mix of the both.
I think I agree with you. I think my samples or examples all revolve around Christmas, because Christmas is such a big tradition in America. And it's a tradition for Americans who are not Christian.
Yeah.
Right? Who don't necessarily believe the meaning of Christmas, or don't have any information about Christianity or any of that stuff, where we all most Americans celebrate Christmas. There are several who don't, many who
Yeah.
don't. You understand my point, I think, is that this general idea of Americans celebrating Christmas and not all of them being Christians
Right.
certainly means that the tradition has changed, right?
Absolutely.
And that has changed for us as a family. We loved Christmas as kids, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
weren't raised particularly Christian.
Right.
There was no Catholic mass to go to. There was no Christian service on Sunday or Christmas Day or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Our Christmas was Winter Wonderland, Santa Claus, mystery and fun, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, right? So tradition changes, certainly, but the idea of my Christmas will always be the same, even though it is the anti-Christmas, it's not a traditional Christian Christmas,
Right.
the way I was raised, I have now gone on and changed my Christmas traditions as well. So
Yeah.
my husband and I don't do big gift exchanges. We don't meet with family. We don't have huge dinners. We don't do that stuff because we do a lot of that throughout the year. So at Christmas time, it started in a way that I always worked around Christmas time. I was always busy doing different events and shows and things. And so Christmas always meant something different for me. But now that we also are married and don't have children and are starting our own lives with our own traditions, we do Christmas differently. We like to go on adventures. Last year we were at Chichen Itza in the Yucatan.
That's so cool.
And it was a blast. And the year before at Joshua Tree. And this year we went to some intaglios here in California. So we do different things and we love it. We love it. But try and introduce that to my family. One year we tried to get my family to go on a cruise at Christmas time just for something different. You would have thought I would have suggested they sold the youngest grandchild. Like, it was terrible what they came back with. And I said, oh my God, people, why would we do that? We're not going to cruise. And I was like, no, you're right. Let's all 12 of us gather into one 4-bedroom house for a week that we've done for the last 8 years. And let's do it again this year. Sure,
and I think some people place a lot of value on tradition. And some people don't, and that's okay. It's both. It's okay for both. Right. Because there's all kinds of stuff, wedding traditions, and I'm just
perfect example.
Certain, just certain stuff like that. And so there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to. I think the hardest part is for people who are very traditional to realize that it's okay to change that a little bit, and you're not really letting go of who you are. You're not really, you're not dismissing your ancestors or the past or whatever it is. So I'm a little surprised that your family reacted that way, only because I know some of your family. But I would bet anytime somebody goes to somebody who's very traditional and really likes their traditions and says, hey, can we try something new this year? The pushback is crazy. I can see that. Because I think the people that are asking to change, the people that are being asked to change I think they get defensive. Like, what's wrong with the way we do this? What's wrong with it? You don't like our Christmas? Right. All of a sudden, you have a problem with how we celebrate. And it's like, whoa.
Dial it back. Hold on. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said identity. We identify with things. It helps us become part of who we are. My grandmother did this. My great-grandmother did this. It's part of our identity and part of our history. And a lot of people really wrap themselves up around that concept of the identity and the ego and the history of themselves. And I think you're right. It does affect them. It threatens a lot of them, which is unfortunate. But I think we don't have to look very much further than world religions to see what tradition can do when it's, held in the wrong regards.
Yeah, or just so strictly adhered to that it's like there's no budging. Because what they say, like, if you're so rigid that you're not going to bend, you're going to break, and that's what's going to happen, right? And we have to make room for everybody's ideas in our world.
And with that, we will conclude this segment. That is what we'll tell our AI friend. We'll upload it into the AI universe just so he knows what we're talking about. Just kidding. There's no AI friend. It's just ChatGPT. You can call him Bob if you want to, but anyways, I think that was fun. We'll hammer this idea out a little bit more. Maybe see what else they talk about, but it's a fun way. Let us know in the comments, folks, what you think. Do you like this segment? Do you have questions about humanity that the AI missed or the AI should ask? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back for our next segment in just a second. Watch this.